Are we live? Yes, we are live. Hello, people. Today here, I know I've missed you guys for a few days. It was not my plans or my promise. I was supposed to come back to read the Gorilla Mindset Cernovich's book right after, on Friday. And plans with kids and family, it's a little bit different than what we usually have in a paper. So let's keep going. The other day I stopped the Gorilla Mindset really in the beginning. We did not even start the first chapter because I was just stopping by and commenting, and I did not stop every time I really wanted to do that because I have other, you know opinions that diverge from the book sometimes. But I'm not here to correct the book. I'm here to read it and then open to discussions. And I hope you guys follow me on Discord. And soon we're gonna be able to do these meetings on Discord, and people can, uh, you know, talk back and participate more than just messaging here on the chat. and and the Discord on sorry on Discord or even Zoom, I'm not sure yet. We're gonna be reading, and in the end, we open for comments. People can actually jump on video and live and talk back to me, okay? Or Alex, whenever we get a hold of him, he's having some internet issues, and that's why we can't really have him with us all the time on the Freebird Media Canada. Today, here is Penny and I, my channel. Okay, I have some bunch of mess. Okay. Let me clean. Just a second. Ooh, looks better now. Not on the other side, but it does. Okay, so in between a bunch of projects, taking a bunch of pictures and a lot of other things, and my vacation by the weekend, starting the touristic series. Okay, traveling around Vancouver Island and stuff, and BC, Fraser Valley. We're gonna. Sorry, lots of things on the live show. So live shows are crazy, but I do like the interaction, and I'm gonna try to do this more often. Maybe every day if I manage to do it. Let's see how it goes. For the books, it's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. For the books in Portuguese, I'll be hopping eventually, maybe with the writer. I'm trying to get Pastor Adélio, Marcio Américo, to come join us on the book club, on the Brazilian book club. Okay, Portuguese. Going back to this amazing book, Gorilla Mindset. This is the book I'm trying to read again now online to bring those videos for my own fans and be a little bit on a little sexy life coach for young men that need any type of questions or about sexuality or lifestyle in general to improve their life, their health, and their well-being. And that's gonna do here, what reading a little bit more of a gorilla mindset. So the gorilla mindset system, okay? The heart of the gorilla mindset system is a paradigm that, when applied, will change how you think, feel, and live your life. In the first part of the book, we will discuss gorilla mindset model. We will start by mastering self-talk, and then we'll move into reframing mindfulness, mood, and focus. Since mindset and lifestyle are connected, we'll also discuss some health, fitness, and other lifestyle changes you can make to improve your life. While each chapter stands on its own, they are especially powerful when approached in sync. The chapter on self-talk will lead into reframing, and both chapters will help you learn how to live in the present moment, which in turn will improve your mood. You will begin to see how your self-talk is influenced by how you choose to frame problems. As you work through the mindfulness and mood control exercise, you begin to see how they can impact your health, confidence, willpower, and much more. So the other day I got cut. My family arrived right when I was reading these parts. We had finished on that. This book is a key, nothing more. And I was talking about, I think, the most important thing, because everybody experiences good and bad things in life, independent of color, sex, or whatever. But nowadays we have a new movement of thoughts that brings a lot of people on viewing their problems as some result of any of their weakness, or some weakness that they would be considered socially. And that victimization of me getting into a problem into my life and saying like, oh, this happened to me because of a woman of color, it is a bad thing to do. And I think the book we've read before is look inside, stop trying to blame the outside, the external. And I think the best way to wrap all these thoughts together is to be rational, to be logic, to be reasonable. Try to use your reason and not your emotions. Okay, stop thinking, because we are emotional beings, but we need to understand that we can control that being reasonable. Okay, reading the other book, The Righteous Mind, we're going to talk about other ways, uh, or more of the ways to work on that, and even to recognize that, to debate the book on the sense of that emotions are important, but we need to be less emotional to make better and more accurate uh, decisions in life. Okay. Gorilla mindset shifts. Throughout this book are immediate steps you can take to change the way you think, titled Gorilla Mindset Shift. These mindset shifts act as switch in your brain. While they are subtle, you will find they activate they activate parts of your brain you haven't used in a long time, or perhaps ever. Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of people in life that never try to use reason to make decisions, And I feel like there was a lot of this going on with me when I was a believer. Okay, so this brings back to my own personal experience and my life, and I can say that before, when I was a believer, I used to live my life more like, I'm gonna do things driven by emotions, and this thing that is God that talks to me in my brain through my feelings, and not, I would not use so much reason. And that was like when I was religious, in the sense like spiritualist, that I was still trying to connect with something external that knew more than I could know. The better for me, that better for me, like why bad things happen. And I was taught before, or trying to rationalize these thoughts on religious, that even when something bad happened to you, is for something good. So I was open up, more open to this idea that's like, I don't know what is better for me. There is a supernatural, super powerful being that knows better than I do what is the best for me. So I'm gonna try to connect to it and get the answers. And I would like, and I made a bunch of decisions in life feeling driven by feelings. Okay, uh, never gonna know if would make better decisions driven by reason, but I believe that I could have made more accurate or better decisions in general if I had more reason than just be driven by emotions. Okay, and that is the little dichotomy that we have in life with so many with the population in general. I think we can see people uh, that will be stuck on the first reaction to just be emotional, and other people that calm down and then try to think and go through that, and maybe even find out that the first the first offense they felt was a mistake. Okay, and let's let's keep going. Sometimes I don't know if I make sense. Gorilla mindset habits. At the end of each chapter are actionable habits you can immediately apply to your life. These are small habits that will deliver big results. Gorilla mindset worksheets. In many cases, it's helpful to write out your patterns of thought. Where applicable, I've included worksheets you may use to further enhance your understanding of choosing and building your mindset. The Gorilla Mindset Shifts, Habits, and Worksheets will help you not only understand but apply your new mindset habits to your life. Now it's time to change your life. So I think generally speaking is just the idea of if you think you're bad, and it's one thing on psychology on kids in small age childhood, is to say like you should not try to shape, you should be careful and watch to not shape the behavior of your kids, titling them things, because if you start calling the kids like you're bad, you this, they will fit into that title, into that role. Okay, and that is something that is the self-talk. So if you say like I'm bad, I commit mistakes because I'm dumb, because I only do bad things, that is so far at least, the self-deprecation to yourself in that bad negative way will probably be negative psychologically to you. But I would say that brings results in real life as you just put yourself down. When you get a little bit like that, one little more point on depressive side will put you down on making changes and acting different, and having different results of what makes you sad. And it gets into that sinkhole, almost like a black hole sucking you. If you like depressed and you do bad things and you tell yourself that you're bad, and instead of like, no, I'm gonna work, and that is responding, like that's more like responsive to feelings. When you just get into this uh, rabbit hole that makes you just feel worse, because you just like, I feel bad and I tell myself bad things, and then that's just bringing me down and I can't act against it. uh, in the other sense, again, what you need, logic and reason to like, I needed to make some change, and how to do this is to first acknowledge the problem, be self-aware of what is the problem, and work on your weakness, and strength your strength. um, that's a little bit what I want to do as a little bit of self coach, when I have people that usually come to talk to me with the sense of more like, can you give me some advice or a feel down, and then I use a few words, speak a little bit with this person and have some good results, see that they are, that I brought their moral up. I see myself doing that very often, and I like that. And I think that's the way to work, not necessarily me, but towards each other, us humans in general. And I would like to see that more often, and the way to sense, to instead of give a supernatural explanation or just say, I'm going to pray for you, you know, uh, more like in the reasonable side, like how can we actually actively, practically change people's lives, okay? Helping them to just rethink and take actions. How to use this book. So finally gonna get to finish this introduction to get in the chapter one. I'm sorry, I just talked too much. How to use this book. This is a workbook, not a lecture. The operative word is work, and you will need to make a commitment to putting in the work, or reading this book will be a waste of your time. If you are ready to do the work, I have one request. Abuse this book. Print it out, write it on it, annotate it, scribble on it, in it again and again, then throw it away and print out a new copy and do it again. Writing is a physical act that engages your body and mind. Putting your words to paper makes your ideas real and concrete. It unites body and mind into one. As they are one, and is that's not a question. I'm the one that put the question. Okay, sorry. As they are one. It's just because some people have that disconnection, I think, and that's I don't think is made by the writing. I think is this discovery is by philosophy, and the philosophy I mean by exercising your thoughts. So yeah, we all need to think more like that. Close the store for balance. It's a little bit on like do that to yourself. Close yourself. Do a little bit of a meditation, or just take a bath, go for a walk, take a moment to think about your life, what makes you happy, to know who you are, what makes you happy, what are your objectives. A destination is something very useful for people that feel lost, okay, to get in the track or to get in this path. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. As they are one. So writing is a good way to try to exercise this meditation, or just like write about yourself, or just go for a walk and think about your life. Um, Go lay down in the bed and think, laying down on your pillow, think about your life. So let's keep going. Connect these two things, okay? Your ideas to the real world, and yourself, to not just like this body that I'm operating, like really be the self inside. Because one thing I really would like to say is to talk about the consciousness, something that a lot of people talk about in many different ways. And I love the scientific part, of course, listening and reading some Harris and other people. And I have read recently the Jonathan Haidt book, The Righteous Mind. And I think I want to write one of my books I will dedicate to them, that is all about this idea of the self, and maybe even playing a little bit on the determinism idea of like, do we really have a free will? And I'm all for, of course, we're going to have to lay down much more definitions, but yes, I'm for we have free will, and the deterministic agenda of we still operate and make decisions out of our brain. So there is a self control. There is such a limit that we are limited by what we have seen and what have been presented to us, and that is what fits into the deterministic views. But we still have the free will in the sense that the process of mind is only yours because it's inside your brain. Okay, it's happening inside your brain. But I'm not gonna go too crazy or ununderstandable. I'm gonna go back to the book. Sorry. As they are one, unite your body and mind into one, as they are one. And we need to make that, okay? Let's try to connect our body and mind. And let's try to have the lead of our body and mind, okay? Or try to. We know we lose control sometimes. We get very emotional. But if we use reason, we can definitely make changes and make it better. We can do the best of us. We can perform the better of us all the time, and maybe reach that platonic sense of the ideal of us, that maybe is not something reachable. No, we're not perfect. That's something, that is the thing of the idea of that there would be, that exists such a god, such a perfect being. But I think the idea of the philosophy, the perfect being, is what is our perfect being, and let's try to reach that being more reasonable, logic, and working in our best interests. Okay, keep going. Take ownership of your life. Start by taking ownership of your words. These are exercises that I have performed and had thousands of other men perform. They work. They are based on science and personal experience. Remember, this is your book, not mine. Actively engage with this book. If you think I'm full of crap, great. Prove me wrong. Don't write to tell me I'm wrong, as your truth may be different from mine. Instead, focus on yourself and your goals. Mike is wrong. I'm not going to do what he suggests. I am going to do something else. The point is that you do something. If this book instills you instills in you a sense that you must lead a more productive, more conscious life, then my job will be done. I'm here to share concepts and some specific examples from my own life. What will specifically work for you may differ from what works for me. Celebrate the difference. Now, let's get to work. So I think the message in general is pretty great. And I personally believe that us humans are only that successful as a species, of course, because of our mind, but most of all, because our mind development reached the point that we can actually trade information, experience, and we created history. In the moment we were able to leave information behind and the next generation did not need to experience and learn everything by themselves, they could take some work done on the way, is how we got to have science, medicine, technology, computers, getting into space and everything today. And that's how we grow as humans throughout history, evolving this much from caveman to reaching space. The same way in each individual's life, trading experience and learning. If we're not open to listen to the other side, we're never going to learn we're wrong or we're going to learn something new. Okay. That's why we need to keep conversations going. And how to have impossible conversations from Peter Boghossian is so important. And I'm going to read for you guys too. So chapter one, I'm not going to read much today. I want to read only chapter one because I have tons of things to do, but I'm going to definitely do it. Chapter one, mindset and conversation, the power of self-talk. If you talk to your friends like you talk to yourself, you wouldn't have any friends. Mike Cernovich. And that is definitely super cool. And you're going to see here how it goes. Imagine that a friend of yours came to you for some advice. Perhaps he had lost his job or his wife left him. Imagine he was facing a real crisis and turned to you for help. What would you happen What would happen to your relationship with this friend or loved one if your response was, "Your life is over"? You probably wouldn't have that friend for long, would you? Would you would you should never candy coat truth, but being overly dramatic is both inaccurate and unhelpful. Our friends turn to us for a combination of emotional support, validation, and actionable advice. You should support yourself in the same way. And there is a little gorilla mindset shift here. Treat yourself like a treasured and trusted friend. And so, yeah, our self talk when we lose girlfriend or whatever, or when we go bad in an exam, we say bad things. We say, "You are stupid. You are an idiot." But you never say that to your friends. So yeah, it's a good start. Think about how you talk to yourself when you are down. Here are some actual sentences I've uttered to myself. "You're so stupid. Why does this always happen to me? My life is over." While those negative sentiments are bad enough, what makes them worse is how overly dramatic they are. If you have said things like that to yourself, you know they have all proven to be false. Negative thoughts are usually lies. Besides, even if we do make a mistake, we can make a mindset shift to overcome the challenge. Do you know anyone who has hysterical overreactions to everything in life, no matter how small? You probably try to avoid that person. Yet, that is how we often talk to ourselves about our own problems. If talking to your friends like that isn't healthy, then why would talking to yourself like that be good for your mental health? Great point. What is self talk? Self talk is the conversations you have with yourself. Interlocution, interlocution, and intrapersonal communication are two fancy ways of describing the same thing. the dialogue that runs through your head. Self talk can be mundane, like repeating someone's telephone number that you're trying to remember. But it can also be a problem if you are in the habit of criticizing yourself. Where we learn self talk. We learn how to talk to ourselves from someone else. Unfortunately, this society we all grew up in is often negative. Even if your home lives were healthy and enriching, and many were not, we went to schools where people were bullied and small minded people criticized and complained. No one taught us how to talk to ourselves. It happened through osmosis. We silently repeated the same speaking patterns, words, and phrases to ourselves that others had spoken to us. You could spend hundreds of hours on a therapist's couch analyzing where you learned how to talk to yourself, but where you learned it is not the question you need to answer. Gorilla mindset is not about blaming your parents, teachers, other loved ones, or author- authority figures. This is a book about taking action. How to improve your self talk. There is a well known marketing adage that applies in times of a brand crisis. Imagine your company or an employee is under attack. What can you do? A guerrilla mindset shift. Change the conversation. To improve your self talk, the first step is to recognize that you're actually engaging in self talk. This may seem obvious, but how many times has your mind spiraled out of control? When an internal conversation starts, seize it. In chapter 3, you'll be given specific techniques to help you get into the moment. Write it down. Then look at the piece of paper so you can literally see the things you are saying to yourself. Once you've recognized that a conversation has started, take these 4 actionable steps to improve your self talk. 1. Talk to yourself in a mirror. Rather than merely attacking yourself in silence, bring the conversation out of your head. Just like go look in the mirror. Begin talking. Do not censor yourself. Have the same conversation in front of the mirror that you were having inside your head. As you're talking, become observant. Look at your facial expressions. Does your brow furrow? Does your face look monstrous? That look you see in the mirror is that your unconscious mind sees when you talk to yourself down. It is ugly, hateful, and disgusting. Ask yourself, is this person looking at me the person I want myself, my family, my friends to see? 2. Record those nasty voices. Get a tape recording and use your computer or iPhone's record function. In today's smartphone era, there are many simple ways for you to record yourself. Turn on the recorder and start talking. As with the mirror exercise above, do not censor yourself. Be real, let it all out. Say all of those mean, nasty, angry thoughts out loud. Get it out of your system. Then, in a day or two, play back the recording. Listen to it objectively. You will realize it sounds ridiculous. When my coaching clients perform this exercise, they often feel disgusted. They simply cannot believe they said those things. Yet, before using the recorder, my clients repeated those words to themselves day in and day out. Yes, sometimes for years. Save the recording. When your self-talk starts to become negative, play it to remind yourself of how ridiculous it really sounds. You will probably want to delete it a day or two later. It will be embarrassing. You should feel free to delete it. After all, you're learning and growing and moving on with your life. But if you catch yourself trapped in negative self-talking again, make a new recording. Make as many recordings as you need to remind yourself what negative self talk really sounds like. And I would like to interrupt here to just say that this is not only self talk. This is like if you're being negative in life and if you're being negative towards other people, something that is very common to happen to ladies. And now I'm talking about kind of like very uh, sex related, but it could happen to parents in general when they have the kids going through the difficult phases. I have a 3 years old daughter, and the terrible twos, it's a moment that is really hard to go through your emotions and the bad behavior of your kids. And sometimes we just, you know vent out loud like some bad words. And I have experienced myself when I was trying to wean her off of the breast. She was already 19 months, and it was hard not sleep. Have the baby, all the time. And I raised her all by myself until recently she started daycare. So I totally know what we go through with kids at home. And I think it's something that it could be even be the, of course, we're not focusing on how we start the self talk, but imagine if we this start young, early ages as kids to listen to their parents saying bad things out loud at home. So I'm not woke person or trying to control too much of the environment, but I think there is a lot on the psychology on how to raise your kids to make them, you know, uh, not better people, but not broken people. Okay, let's say like that, because it's so much hard. No, so difficult, or maybe even impossible to fix a broken person than to just, you know it is hard to raise uh, good people, you know healthy children, because it is challenging. And that's my point on like the talk out loud, even if it's like this, maybe it's not to yourself, but maybe it's to other towards other people, or at your family, or in your house, or just your routine, home housewife stuff. I have experienced it. So you need to police yourself, be aware, and work a lot on policing yourself. I do that all the time because I try to be a reasonable person, and it's hard to be a reasonable woman, okay, guys? Mainly when you go through your period. Number three, ask yourself questions. Criticism and self hate are not based on open inquiry. They are based on value judgments. Most often, those value judgments were someone else. The attacks in your head are other people's voices that you've heard and internalized over the years. That means that you are attacking yourself based on someone else's standards. How goofy is that? Self hate is not based in inquisitiveness. It is a rant, repeating negative statements over and over. When you feel yourself going on a self destructive, self hating rant, stop making statements and start asking questions. Am, am I being a hateful person? Do I want to be a hateful person? Am I a drama queen? Am I the type of person who loses my mind over stupidity and nonsense? Am I choosing in this moment to be the type of person I want to become? Ask those questions. Answer them. Literally, start a new conversation. As you ask more questions, a rich conversation will emerge. You will begin to reconsider your assumptions about the world. You may even begin asking the most fundamental questions of all. Who am I really living for? Who do I want to be? And that is actually something I think is important. I think when we start using more reason, sometimes we realize that we are not doing things to yourself, and that requires change to put yourself in the track for your happiness. And that can be scary when the changes are uh, you know too complicated to be made or anything, or when you realize you have a huge project in front. But that should not be something to make you give up or to disencourage you. It should be something that to more into thinking, am I gonna me I'm gonna let more time pass by and not do anything about this, and then just recognize that you should have been working for that before, and time flies. So work, work, baby. Let's do it. 4, affirmations and mantras. Change negative self talk into positive self talk. Positive self talk can come into the form of affirmations or mantras. An affirmation can be a sentence, paragraph, or even a full page of conversation you have with yourself. A mantra tends to be shorter, usually a word or two. When writing your mantra, imagine the person you want to be. Visualize it. In chapter 10, you will learn exactly how to do this. Repeat your affirmation or mantra as often as you need to. Many people begin their days with one or both, and others use them when under stress. Here are some examples. I am unstoppable. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. It smells like victory from Apocalypse Now. This is a fantastic challenge that will test my resolve and will. Even if I don't win, I will grow stronger. Today, I am better than I was yesterday from Last of the Rensai, a science fiction book. And the only easy day was yesterday. Navisil Muru. I knew a doctor who, when confronted with a problem, would say might by repeating might, mighty, mighty, mighty. Sorry. He did remind himself who he was. Again, it doesn't matter what your affirmation or mantra is, it's yours. There are no right or wrong answers. I want you to discover your truth, not my truth. What matters is how you feel. Your mantra or affirmation should encourage, motivate, and in times of stress, comfort you. So I'll stop before the gorilla mindset shift just to tell you guys again. Of course, I sometimes disagree with the book in the sense of just like make this mantra, make rituals. There are a lot of teaching on the do this as a ritual or a little method of keep you in track. Yes, positive is okay. Sometimes it's something that this psychotherapy works in that way a lot, but also I have more trust, okay, in humans and their capacity, their brain capacity. So I always try to bring back to be reasonable, be logic, use your reason, and you might not need any specific words or pray or amen, hallelujah, or pray to God, that little sentence or something, or your amulet, something to hold on. Those or good exercise, but there is the one good exercise that works all the time, that is think. Okay. Gorilla mindset shift. It's your affirmation. It can be as corny as you want it to be. What matters is that the powerful self-talk resonates with you. You have permission to do any goofy new age stuff you like, so long as it works. A little bit on the like, woo, postmodern coexist, everything's possible. Your mantra can be a short snippet of a full affirmation, and can even be a stepping off point for an entire code of conduct or creed. The United States Army Rangers, an elite special operations force that conducts some of the most dangerous missions around the world, makes each soldier memorize the Ranger creed. By being forced to memorize the creed, Rangers begin to live the creed. It includes some affirmation such as, never shall I fail my comrades. My comrades, I will always keep myself mentally alert, physically strong, and morally straight, and I will shoulder more than my share of the task, whatever it may be, 100% and then some. That's powerful living. And I have to stop again because Actually, this is another mechanism that they use to make people engage into communities. And that the community feeling is another engaging feeling over humans. Okay. We're going to talk about this more when I read for you The Righteous Mind, that I have read before. But we're going to go, those books are so much fun. We have so much time. We spend so much time online doing nothing that I'm fine of rereading all these books for you and talking about these awesome people and ideas. Okay. Because even if the idea is not completely perfect, it opens for the exercise of thinking and thinking more of it, and exercising the trading the ideas in conversations. And that's what you're gonna do. Improving your self-talk will improve your relationships. Your self-talk affects your relationship with yourself. If you are constantly beating yourself up or using abusive language on yourself, you will be in a poor mood. Will be angry and no fun to be around. Once you improve your self talk, your mood will improve. That's more, your improved self talk will have another effect. It will improve how you treat those around you. When you start talking more politely to yourself, your friends, family, business associates, and other loved ones may be surprised by how you are now talking to them as well. You will begin to choose your words more carefully. When you stop insulting and overreacting to yourself, you will discover that you also don't overreact when dealing with others. Create powerful affirmations. Extensive research into the science of willpower and mindset has shown that people are far more likely to believe something when they are given a reason to do so. Unless you have a reason for your affirmation, you may not believe in it and you won't follow through. Your affirmation can be anything from a belief you hold about yourself to a commitment to engage in a new task or set of habits. In other words, affirmation is not a fundamental concept with a fixed meaning. It is not a rule to abide by or a clever saying. It is an action or a process of encouragement. Structure your affirmations as follows: I am going to blank because blank. For example, I am going to warm up my brain before work because I enjoy having clarity of thought and intense focus. I am going to take a contrast shower because I want to feel invigorated. I am going to get out of bed rather than hit the snooze button because I am tired of being passive about life. Write or type out your affirmations on a piece of paper. Your affirmation can be short or long. For example, the following is essay, I will, is my affirmation on life. So let's read Cernovich. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe I'll be a contender. Mr. Maybe is the ultimate seducer. Mr. Maybe whispers honey in your ear. When you talk to Mr. Maybe, he tells you what your ego wants to hear. Maybe gives you the illusion that someday, by golly, you will live the life you dreamed of. Mr. Maybe tells you, it will happen, trust me. Committing to Mr. Maybe is easy. It requires no risk, only rationalization. It could have been a contender. You tell yourself later in life when you inevitably realize that the only certainty that follows maybe is regret. Don't call me maybe. Or don't call me maybe. There is no maybe. There is no I might. There is no. That sounds interesting. Maybe I will do it one day. You are in or you are out. There is only the daily, hourly, minute by minute, unrelenting commitment. Make a commitment to yourself, starting this very moment. It is a basic commitment that only requires two words: I will. I will treat today like the beginning of a new life. I will go to the gym. I will turn off the television. I will stop reading filth, rage, and clickbait websites. I will fuel my body for optimal performance. I will make more money than I spend. I will visualize my perfect day. I will keep moving, fighting, striving, and giving the world my all. I will fall asleep a better man than I woke up. Are you willing to kill Mr. Maybe? You either in or you out. What's going to be? So all this time, he's just trying to get us to accept the terms that you need to make changes. Okay, and that is pretty good. Uh, One of the things I wanted to put here, we're pretty close to the end of the first chapter in the end of this video. I just wanted to tell you guys here that sometimes we just think, and I try to. I love the exercising and the philosophy of exercising possibilities. Okay, when talking about this maybe, and this maybe for me is more like, can we actually do whatever we want as humans? And I think so. And when I think like, oh, it's someone could come and just accuse me like, oh, but you're a privileged person, you know, in some way, as some people have tried to accuse me. Like, you're a white supremacist, rich lady. And it's like, no, I'm not white supremacist or rich. From like, not, I did not come from a poor family, but every time I think of this, okay, if I think like, even if if I was born rich. The other day I met someone, a guy told me he had a lot of trouble when he became poor, from coming from like his father was really rich, had a lot of money, and went through bankruptcy, and he went crazy after that. And I was thinking, and then I talked to him about individualism. I was like, but you can become rich in your lifetime, just like your father was. It's not that your life is done. So many people change their financial situation throughout their lives, the bankruptcy or becoming rich, not only by lottery, sometimes by saving money, opening a company. And of course there are risks, and that goes to the conversation of philosophy on meritocracy and economy, capitalism, and other things that I don't want to enter. But the point is, if I lost everything, or if I was that guy on the corner with the sign on my hand waiting for people to give me tips, I actually think I would do more than just hold the sign on the corner, waiting for tips for days, day after day, and still there in the same corner, holding the sign with the tips. And I exercise that. I walk around the world, and I was like, you know what? I would probably try to sell some type of service, work on something, ask people if they want me to clean something. I will go to here in Canada, you walk into the nature, like all the hikes, the trails and places where you can go for a little walk, and there are berries everywhere. I would go to those places and collect berries and wash them and make little bags and sell them on those corners, instead of hold the sign to get just the money. Okay, and that's the difference. Some people will sit idle still into their lives and do nothing and wait for other people to do it for them, and other people that do things by themselves and improve. And we all have that. So yes, if I lose everything tomorrow, I still can do something, unless probably before I get the arms and legs cut off and then I cannot speak. That time I probably will need some people to take care of me, but until that time I'll probably try to get other methods and ways to improve my life. So of course, I'm not doing specific right now studying and improving my life, but I'm improving my life on sharing my experience and a lot of things with you guys. And of course, I have to work on the side to get all the other things that actually give me money aside. It just was an interesting thought that I always keep thinking of, like, are we stuck? No, we're not like rocks. Rocks are good to be just there, that spot. We actually can move. We always can move. We always can make change, and that's what we want to do. John, hello there. How are you doing? We reading more Mike Cernovich, okay? And we here on the self-talk worksheet. So we have the self-talk worksheet is the end of the first chapter, okay? This is the second part of reading this book. I reading woke this and a bunch of other books I have here that I have read. I'm just reading for you. It works for me. If there is anybody listening to this later, Brazilian Portuguese speakers, uh, I would say there is a huge difference on reading the book by yourself and reading the book out loud for other people. Well, that is a different thing. Yeah, uh, the reading by myself, I would not be training the uh, pronunciation of the word. So that it's being a great exercise for me to read it out loud, okay? Than to just read the book to myself. John Su, good. Well, that is an interesting affirmation because I just read a part of the book that he actually says, for people to do better than him. So if you actually think he sucks, you can just write your book and do better than him is. And he actually says, if you do that, he has done his job and he feels happy that you guys have moved ahead or forward. Okay, I think it's very charitable, of his part of giving this to people as consume whoever wants. That's how books work, and we have so many options. The self-talk worksheet is self-talk refers to the conversation we have with ourselves. To improve the conversation with yourself, put your words into writing. Filling out this worksheet will help you become more mindful of your language and thought patterns. How to speak to yourself. What words and phrases do you use when talking to yourself? What is the phrase you mostly common use when you find yourself in a troubling situation? Write it out. It's probably something nice. Here's an example from my own life. I tend to speak in absolutes. When something doesn't go my way, or when I make a mistake, I say to myself, "You always this up. You never get this right." This negative thinking reinforces an unconscious belief that I am incompetent. It is harmful and destructive. When you talk to yourself in that way, how do you feel? Write it out. Example: I tend to feel hopeless as I am always making the same mistakes or feel like I can never do anything right. Using words like never or always make me feel like growth or change is impossible. What is an empowering or comforting phrase you can use when talking to yourself? This must be a phrase that you own. When you make a mistake, how can you recognize and make a correction without beating yourself up? Write it out. Example: I often make mistakes. My mistakes are not indictment of my character, but a reminder that I am a human. Each mistake gives me an opportunity to reflect and grow. Better self talk will lead to be better conversations with others. As you perform those self talk exercises, you will notice a surprising side effect. You will start talking to your friends, family members, lovers, and others with a more helpful, encouraging tone. After all, much of a negative energy you will direct outward originates within yourself. So, I'm just like a page to finish, but I'm starting another subtitle. And I just wanted to put here that the worksheet is something useful for people that are completely lost and that are being really depressed or negative. I think my little hint to just be reasonable, stop yourself being, recognize you're being emotional, recognize you being negative, and try to be reasonable. Okay. How do I change the situation? No, efficiently, and stop the bitching. No, honestly. Gorilla self talk habits. One, avoid speaking in absolutes. Rather than saying, I always make the same mistake, recognize that each mistake is an opportunity for growth. Moreover, do you really always make the same mistake? That is probably not true. And telling yourself you always make the same mistake and will never improve is certainly not helpful. Instead, say, I made a mistake. I will avoid it in the future by, because when you do this, you have to think what was mistake and recognize and work on that. Like the thing about being aware, discover, be aware, and then police yourself. It needs those steps of recognize, of realizing. So it's all about reason. It's all about logic. Talk to yourself as you would a close friend. When going on a negative rant against yourself, stop and ask, would I talk to a close friend or loved one like this? Maybe you would, but I doubt it. You are probably meaner to yourself than you are to others. 3. Smile when you are angry at yourself. Mood and posture are linked, and it's been proven that engaging in the physical act of smiling can actually make you feel happier. When you start talking to yourself in a negative manner, raise your body up, take a deep breath, and smile. You might find the rant stops in its tracks. It's a good exercise. It's just one more little mechanism he's trying to use to stop you from being so emotional and try to bring you back to think. Every time it's like stop, think, stop, do this, that. It's all about thinking. But he's working a little bit on this psychologist way that is not completely being super rational to the person and explaining step by step of their intricate mind and just giving the little exercise to work on that without even being aware, or conscious about the conscience of it. But I prefer stop, breathe. Hey, I'm being emotional. What should I do? Is this a situation to yell, scream, bitch at myself, cry, or there is something to be done? And when there is nothing to be done, should I just feel bad? I don't know. There's a lot. Much more on my own philosophy and my own book that's going to be talking about. 4. Turn a critical statement about yourself into a question. Rather than blame and talk down to yourself, ask, how can I prevent making this same choice in the future? Yeah. Instead of saying, like, I always commit this mistake, how can I stop making this mistake? 5. Talk to yourself in front of a mirror. Look in the mirror as you talk to yourself. Repeat the same negative words to your face. How do you look? Is that the type of person you want to be? 6. Repeat your mantra. Your mantra or affirmations could be a word, a sentence, or even an entire essay. So, yeah, guys, that's the end of the first chapter. Sorry for taking so long to read such a small book. The book is not that long. I would suggest for people that want just like, easy listening or reading, check Gorilla Mindset. Uh, to do manual work, crafting stuff that like I like doing, I usually get the Audible versions and then I listen to the books I've read before, after, during, skip chapters just to listen to the people. I am listening right now to one of James Lindsay's books. Everybody's wrong about God, and it is an amazing book. Talk about concepts, reality, and these ideas that people want to manipulate and play with. So it's very interesting. I would suggest you guys to get the book. I'm gonna get, of course, I always have all the printed copies. I read them, and to also hope one day get all the people to sign my books, their books that I have. Thank you very much, John. Only I don't have any trouble with this stuff. I am here to support your channel. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate support. Um, the books I'm doing book club just as another content that is related to my interests. I'm always reading this or other things. I am always writing. I have gotten a friend to get me a publisher in Brazil, so maybe in the future, you guys gonna see something written by me. Uh, I have written a lot of things for very long time, like so. I just need to wrap everything together, maybe one day. Aquarium stuff. Okay, cool. Oh, I should not grow my channel more than that. I actually having trouble to manage everything. Okay, so more than book clubs, OnlyFans, and all the channels around the Freebird Media, Atheist Republic, interviews on Fanny and I, the touristic attractions. I'm going to start making videos about tourism around here, Vancouver, Fraser Valley, BC, okay, Canada. Uh, I don't think I have time. I would have to not sleep to be able to get more projects. What else we have next week? Interview with Sargon of Akkad. I'm super excited. I already have a bunch of questions written here, and just things fall all the time. Like this is one of the books, but this book is in Portuguese. This book is in Portuguese. It's my sexual biography. Okay, I have two biographies going on, and of course, it's written all over the place, but in different place because I have different books going on. I have interview with Sargon next week, and that's what I'm working here today on writing more questions for this amazing interview. We're gonna guys gonna check next week. Where is that? I can't find it. I can't find it. I lost it. I lost it right now. So, and if you guys want to talk about anything, just let me know. Oh, there is something here. I've written for a long time ago, and maybe people edit, cut videos, download, make other things. I don't know. I'm fine that I have here one person I really want to interview, and I'm trying to. It's David 504. He's way too huge because now I have like getting to talk to Sargon next week is almost like reaching the top, the climax of my channel that I have planned or imagined. Okay, I'm gonna say Sargon is big like that, and I'm a fan of him for that long, and I feel like, oh my gosh, I talked to Sargon, Lawrence Cross, you know, Devon Tracy, and David Silverman, and Armenian Navib. Uh, I don't know. I feel like there is, of course, a lot of people that I still want to talk. Michael Shermer, I just like trying to lure more people. Robert Barnes, that's friend of Viva Fry, and I want to interview him too. Mm, so many names, books, and things to come. But I do want to go like Crowder is probably the top. Oh, Crowder is not better than Sargon. Sargon is much better than Crowder. But I would love to talk to Crowder as well. I used to follow Crowder. Yeah, and I would love to talk to Crowder. It would be very interesting because he's Canadian, and I could bring definitely him for more like Freebird Media Canada. Then I personally would, no, more than I personally would like to talk to Crowder, but I would like to talk to Crowder anyways. He is pretty cool. Have a lot of conversations on the libertarian ideas that we agree on, like gun control that we probably want minimum as possible. Uh, in numbers, you mean? Okay, yeah, Crowder. I have not followed because Crowder became really big. Yeah, definitely with Mug Club and everything. But I definitely enjoy Crowder, and my bad. Like after I stopped following him, I know I've watched at least the Epstein video, the one that he does like that test trying to prove how Epstein could have killed himself in prison. Crowder is amazing. I really would like to talk to him. But let's see. Who knows? You guys follow Crowder? Can you guys get me Crowder? Please, if you guys have contact, if you guys can get his attention, I know a lot of Crowder videos. Really like his attempt of epistemology. Okay, this changed my mind. It's like the his attempt of trying some type of street epistemology is pretty cool. I appreciate. But now I want to make my propaganda. Who I want? I want Davey 504, the guy, bass, the bass, the bass guy, Davey 504. Okay, bass, the bass, the bass guy, Davey 504. Okay, and you guys know he has something with his PP. Oh no, something like he's Italian, so and he's a big guy that has long fingers that plays bass. So I'm not saying he might have a big PP, but what I'm saying here, this message I'm sending to him is that he needs to give me an interview. So, David 504, you have to give me an interview or you will have a small PP. Okay? That is like a spell. It's like, and I'm an agnostic atheist. I don't believe in anything, but people do. So maybe he gives me an interview afraid of my spell. Atheist spells are even stronger than believer spells, I guess. It works everywhere. It has like no jurisdiction. It works everywhere. It's like something like that. So, yeah, he has to give me an interview. Oh, Crowder is hard to get to. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Ah yeah, no hurries. The people that actually only talk to people, maybe I'm not gonna even talk to them one day. But let's see. You know, I'm not like really looking for talking to people that I don't completely agree yet. But I think the internet and the world is that big and future. It's all so unpopular opinions is the other card I wrote here. You guys see that I'm like just recycling kids' books. Uh, unpopular opinions with me, okay, or by me. It's something I'm thinking of doing, and we'll be very like talking about some things I talk on the video game and fapping channel. So uh, gaming culture mostly, about the sexiness of the Mortal Kombat or whatever video games coming, or with some friends, and masturbation and other things that are very controversial for so many people. Anyways, guys, taking too long. This was just to read the book, and then I'm like just stick around, do other stuff. Um, by the way, what I could tell you that more than just are gone on Monday, we're gonna have this weekend. I'll try to make some live videos. I don't know how that's gonna work. I'll have a friend, a Canadian friend from Montreal, coming with his girlfriend that in fact is Peruvian, coming to BC, here where I live, close to Vancouver, and we're gonna be traveling. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna go to Vancouver, do any city museum stuff, but we're definitely gonna be. I'm gonna be sharing with you the camping, the ecotourism of this area. Camping, boating, fishing stuff. We're gonna be crossing the lake by boat and sleeping on the beach on the other side. So it's gonna be a little adventure. And I hope I can make nice videos and content pictures and make some live if I have internet, whatever we are. I probably gonna try to make some short live video, maybe reading a book, maybe by the fireplace, fire pit, maybe by the lake, fishing. Maybe if I get to fish something nice, that's it. John is my only viewer. At least you can claim that when I get famous, okay? If I do, you can say like I was the only viewer on her channel when there was nobody there. It's just you and me here, baby. Well, no, for me, it seems that there are two people watching me, and it could be my mom, okay? Because my mom says she's always watching me. So, and that's how I know I don't really have 100% only male subscription because my mom is in there. Okay, the other day on Twitter was funny. Someone told me, or in a comment, I comment one of the videos, people that I like, saying like, "Hey, please give me an interview." Someone said like, "Nobody cares about your opinion," and I was like, "Excuse me, my parents is still alive, so there is people still in this planet that care about my opinion." Okay, and you guys need to check out. Maybe one day I'll have a stand-up comedy show or just the book because I write a bunch of things. So thank you very much for coming, and I see you guys next video. Have a great rest of the week. Bye bye. I'm gonna do like a Sean